Hello there, channel members, friends, and followers from around the world. This is Q8 Pilot, your host for tonight's show. And ladies and gentlemen, today, based on members' popular vote, we are flying once again to fly JSIM Q4XP Dash a Q400. And today, we're going to be doing so from Oklahoma City, the Xometry Airport, the scenery by Xometry. I hope I said that correctly. Kilo Oscar Kilo Charlie, and we're going to be heading to George Bush International Airport in the US of A. Our flight today is approximately 1 hour and 10 minutes. We're going to be cruising at a final cruise altitude of 25,000 feet in this United Express livery. But first, I want to welcome all of you guys on board this flight. Leaf, I got your message. Thank you very much, sir. No worries at all. Hopefully we catch you next time. Aaron Knowledge, welcome aboard, my friend. Niels, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. And we have with us today also Strange Goat. Welcome aboard, my friend. Elaine, hello, my friend. Sachin, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you all with us during this live stream. And before we begin our stream today, I just wanted to let you know that we're still not in live weather because I wanted to show the weather conditions are not so great right now at Oklahoma City, and I wanted to show you guys the airport before we begin. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a look here at the beautiful rendition by Oklahoma City by Xometry. And I want to welcome also QWERTY Moose. Hello, my friend. How are you doing? I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. And we have also Megabyte Gaming. Welcome aboard. So, guys, this airport is actually a pretty detailed airport. And those of you who know me know that I really like details. And there's a lot of details in this airport over a very large area. It's a beautiful scenery, really, of Oklahoma City Airport. Quite detailed, of course, not as detailed as the as the MSFS with all the detailed interiors. But this airport is actually quite detailed, and I think they've done a really good job with the buildings overall. As you can see here, let me just go up here. A very large area has been modeled with a lot of details, as you can see here. Just really incredible amount of details all along this airport scenery. Very, very nice here. We can maybe go a little faster here, and we can take a look at this side. And today, actually, I noticed that the traffic lights work in X-Plane. They actually turn, yellow, red, green, and kind of directing the traffic. Again, a very large area of this scenery, or the airport vicinity, has been also modeled. Looks really, really good. One airport that I probably would recommend for X-Plane 12. How are you doing today? Any chance we get another FS 2020 performance tweak guide for the new version, having a low performance after the new update? Yeah, a lot of people are complaining about that, and I'm not sure why. But yeah, I don't know if my settings guide will now make much sense since I'm running a 4090 with a very powerful processor. But I'll see what I can do. There are a few things that I posted in my earlier video about the limiting the frames in the background applications to 30. That might help you a little bit with smoothness. But yeah, there are a lot of settings guides out there. Again, very, very nice scenery here. Very well done. And just to kind of give you guys a since this is our beautiful aircraft today, we're going to go ahead and bring up the live weather. So we're going to come here and we're going to say download real weather. 3 minutes ago, it looks like we are in real weather. Right, resume. Okay. Right, looks like things have subsided. And yeah, we are flying the Q4XP. We have also with us Sachin. Hello, Sachin. Welcome aboard. Zebo mod does not work with X-Plane 12. It does work. Yeah, it does work. You have to just download the X-Plane 12 version. Steve, 1927, welcome aboard, my friend. Glad to have you with us. How much disk space do you have for X-Plane MSFS installed? I have 2 terabyte M.2s for each sim. So that's basically what I have. And yeah. Rafi, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. Juan, hello, my friend. Welcome. All right. So, folks, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to bring up the Sim Toolkit Pro. We're going to say fly now. And we're going to take a quick look here at our flight plan. As you can see, what is that? All right. So, basically, we are going to be departing runway 17 left through the Mod 3 departure through to Alpha transition direct to Charlie Vector Echo, and then we're going to go to the Gusher star into George Bush International runway 08 right. We're going to bring this, make this always on top, and we're going to move it to the side here. All right, and let's go ahead and get things started with our Dash 8. Hey, Mr. Fibby Bimb. Hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Thanks for your support being a member here of the channel. Niels, welcome aboard, my friend. Thank you. Yes, it is a very nice airport. The Q4XP is one of my absolute favorite aircraft for X-Plane, really. Just a beautiful, beautiful aircraft. All right, so we're going to hop into the cockpit, folks, and this is the majestic cockpit of the Dash 8, and here's what we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to set up the payload information. So we're going to say select load, and then we're going to bring up Sim Toolkit Pro. We're going to head over to the payload, and this is probably something I don't do a lot, is showing everything, but today I decided to show you guys everything so we can maximize the benefit of this stream. So passengers today, 46 passengers, not a big load for the Dash, and we're going to go to the cargo, 3,030. So we're going to go to the total cargo here and put 3,030. Approximately our flight is going to be 1 hour and 10 minutes. So that's entered, and now the total fuel is going to be, as you can see here, 6,832. We're just going to put 7,000. I think that's fine. There we go, 7,000, and zero fuel is 50191, 50,191. All right, so we're going to say 50,191. That will probably adjust the cargo a little bit, as you have seen here. But now we have the proper excuse me, proper zero fuel weight according to our SimBrief flight plan. Santiago, welcome aboard, my friend, reporting for duty. Hello, my friend, welcome. Glad to have you here. Fly More Sim, hello, my friend, welcome aboard. Glad to have you guys with me this evening. All right, so everything is looking good here. Let's go to the load summary, and we are looking good here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and say confirm the load and start loading. That will open the doors and it will summon the fuel truck, and we can now begin loading. All right, let's put this away for the time being and let's start preparing our Dash 8. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to head over here to the overhead panel. We're going to turn on the master battery, main battery, auxiliary, and the standby battery. Everything here looks good. All right, we're going to go ahead and start the APU immediately, but before we start the APU, we need to come here and turn on the engine display as well as the electrical display so that we can see the state of our battery. And you shouldn't turn anything on at this point as we do not have ground power or the APU running. So this is the this is kind of the maximum that you should turn on before you actually supply the aircraft with power. The flickering on those screens is just outstanding. It's done very, very well by Fly Jason. Right, so this is the engine display, and this is, we can look here at the outside ambient temperature, and we can also look at the electrical display. As you can see, the batteries are now discharging. You can see the minus sign here. All right, APU gen, of course, is 0, and DC gen is 0 as well. All right, perfect. We're going to come here, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on the power. and we're going to wait. Before we start the APU control, we need to perform the tests here. So fire test, bottle is armed, valve is closed, everything is as it should, and now the fuel valve is open. We can go ahead and start the APU. The APU control is now starting. We can hear the APU running. Love the sounds on this aircraft. We can now perform the engine fire test 1, engine fire test 2, and we can now come over here and test the baggage compartment fire test as well. And only one for the forward baggage, as it is a much smaller area. All right, so all the tests here check okay. And we're going to look here. All right, generator is on. Bleed air is now on. Recirc is on, and now we have APU power. We're going to, before we turn on our displays, we're going to make sure that we have a positive charge. As you can see now, we have the battery charging. The load on the APU gen is also positive, and everything is now working as it should, with the DC bus now having the volts. So there is an electrical charge to the aircraft. Now that we have verified that the electrical system is behaving as it should, we can come and turn on the rest of our displays, starting with our radios. So we're going to turn on the radios here, and then we're going to turn on the rest of the displays on the captain side and the first officer side, like so. Excellent. And we're going to turn on our UNS devices as well. Left and right, UNS. Both sides are now coming up. Perfect. Now we're going to wait for these displays to be available. And by the way, guys, just as a quick reference, I know I haven't yet done the performance video for X-Plane with the RTX 4090, but just very quickly, at this exact airport with my old setup, exactly the same settings, everything the same, I used to get about 34, 35 FPS, whereas with the RTX 4090 and the new processor, I'm getting somewhere in the 55 to 60 range. So there is definitely a lot of performance improvement. Also, with the new setup in X-Plane 12, I will be making a detailed video in the coming days, similar to the one I've done on Microsoft Flight Simulator. All right, so we have the displays here. The first thing we want to do is we want to come down here. We want to test the auto feather system. We're going to press and hold. And as you can see now, the auto feather test is in progress, as you can see here. And we can also perform the GBW test as well.
Hold up.
All right. Testing is, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. All right. Okay, and now we can do the overspeed test and stall test. So takeoff warning. All right, just we want to make sure you hear the horn. So if there is a problem before takeoff, then there is a horn that will let us know. ADS test 1, as you can see, checks OK. ADS test 2 also checks OK. And then we're going to stall. Stall warning test is OK. And test 2 checks OK. Perfect. We'll leave the steering for the time being. And we're going to go ahead now and start programming the FMC. But first, we're going to come here to the overhead panel. And we're going to turn on the fasten seat belt and non-smoking signs. And the position lights as well. All right. In the interest of time, we're going to say fast load. And that will just have all the passengers and close the doors. Perfect. All right. So everything is good here. We're ready to program the FMS or the UNS device. So what we're going to do is we are going to bring it up here so you guys can see and follow along as to what I'm doing. We'll make it a little big here so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. And we're going to bring up our friendly SimToolkit Pro. Hey Q8, how does this aircraft compare to the Majestic? In all honesty, so in terms of the depth of system simulation, they're almost the same. But the Majestic Dash 8 from P3D has a little more depth into the system simulation. Some parts not major, but some parts are properly simulated where they are still kind of in-op in this Q4XP. But in terms of the visuals and the interactivity of the cabin, the fine details, the animations, Q4XP just really surpasses the Majestic Dash 8 by a long shot. And that's my honest opinion. All right, so we go to accept. We're going to go to the flight plan. This is our departure airport, Kilo Oscar Kilo Charlie, or Roger Will Airport in Oklahoma City. And we're going to select it. We're going to go to the menu, and then we're going to say depart. And we're going to be departing today. If we come here to our flight plan, and we take a look right here, we're at runway 17 left, that's number 2. And we enter that, and the SID is the M.2. As you can see here, M.2, that's number 3. Enter that. And then the Alfred transition is number 2. We're going to select that and then go to the flight plan. Now we can see this. We can, by the way, remove the vectors here. So let's go ahead and remove that. And then we're going to go next. This is Alfred. From Alfred, we're going to fly direct to Charlie Vector Echo, Charlie Victor Echo. So we're going to come here, add number 6, and put Charlie Victor Echo, and enter that, accept it. And then it's our destination, which is George Bush International Airport, Kilo, India, Alpha Hotel. All right, perfect, and accept. Then we're going to select our arrival airport. We're going to go to the menu and select arrive. And we are arriving today runway 08 right, which is number 2. And from number 2, we're going to go through the Gusher 3. Where's the Gusher 3? Number 5. Gusher 3. And through the Charlie Victor Echo transition, which is number 1. And the approach is the ILS runway 08 right, so number 1. And then it's going to be, is there a transition into... let's check here. So from Gusher, that's Gusher 3, M4. No, there is no transition, so we're just going to say enter, and then flight plan. We're going to go next here and make sure, looks like we have one discontinuity here, so we're going to go ahead and delete that, and that's the approach into George Bush International. All right, we are done with the FMC or the UNS. We're going to come here and enter the zero fuel. And since we copied the zero fuel from the SimBrief plan, we can just simply enter it here. You can, of course, alternatively put in the passenger, cargo, and fuel, all the information here, and it will calculate things for you. But the easier way is to just enter the zero fuel. We have with us Mika Morgan. Hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. All right, so the zero fuel here is 50191, 50191, and enter that. And the fuel on board is 7,000 pounds of fuel, and that's now also entered. Perfect. Everything looks good here. We go back to the flight plan. We're bring up the secondary UNS device. We're going to say accept master exfil from FMS1. And now the crossfill is taking place. Everything looks good here. We can put this on flight plan. And voila, we are done with the FMC. Excellent. So we're almost ready to go now. And let's go ahead and take a quick look at the weather. Do I want to connect? No, leave it. By the way, I do have a tip for those of you who are using X-Plane 12 on a 4K monitor. I'll tell you that in a minute. But let's take a look at the weather here. 181, 16 knot wind here as we depart. Few clouds at 3,500. Current temperature is 12. Altimeter is 3027. So let's go ahead and set the altimeter here so you guys can see again. 3027. All right, 3027 is now set. And we're going to make sure it's set here as well. And set here 327. All right, 327 is set. Everything is done here. Let's go ahead and set our altitude, and the final altitude is 25,000 feet. Again, I'm going to just zoom out just a little bit so you guys, this is the altitude, And this is the altitude knob, so we're just going to take this to 25,000 feet. All right, almost there. 25,000 feet is set. Perfect. All right, so everything here is done. And we are now actually ready for engine start. So we're going to switch the nav source to FMS1. And we're going to do the same thing here to FMS1. And everything's looking good. All right. So, by the way, we need to put the anti-skid on test. And pitos are on. Pilot side window heat is on as well. And we are now ready to start our engines. All right, so we're going to go to red. Red, by the way, is so with the Dash 8, you don't really have a strobe, so it's red when you are on the ground, and before takeoff we move it to white, anti-collision, and you just leave it there, and I think it turns both lights on. It keeps the red and the white, both are on. All right, so we're good here, and everything is ready for our start. Hopefully the pushback truck or better pushback would work. Should we connect to X-Plane? I've noticed that when with this version of SimSilicon Pro, it causes some stutters. So let's go ahead and connect it. And if it does give us stutters, then we will turn it off. Okay. All right. So far so good. All is good. Let's go ahead and call the pushback truck. Better pushback. Start push.
Hey Captain, let me know where you want this thing.
I love it when you hear Castrator's voice.
Great news, Captain. Your tow's coming.
I hope he's doing well. And Lucas, hello, my friend. How are you doing? What's a good plane for X-Plane 12 to buy in the Black Friday sale? Well, I'll tell you what, my friend. If this aircraft is available, I would definitely jump on it. If it's included in the Friday sale. There's also the what do you call it? The DA50, I believe 50 RG by Aerobasque is another good one to have in the hangar. The 747 Classic. There's just the Tolus. All of these aircraft are excellent aircraft to have for X-Plane 12. All right, let's see here. What is this guy doing?
All right, looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to connect.
All right. Gonna release the parking brake. You can see he's pulling the aircraft forward. There you go.
Here comes the pushback. Light them up.
All right, so pushback is, hopefully it starts. All right, there we go, good. So it did work this time, excellent. And we can now start the engine number engine number 2 first, beg your pardon. So engine number 2, select start. And now we're gonna see the engine spooling, as you can see here. It kind of spools really fast, but here we go, start and feather. Matt Johnson, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. All right. There we go. Listen to those beautiful engine sounds. Very nice indeed. Regards to Daniela, who was responsible for the sounds on the Dash 8. I believe she now works also with Laminar Research, and she's done all the sound packs for
Just about
X-Point
done
12.
here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
All right, parking brake is set. We can start.
And we're disconnecting the tow.
The
Give me just a
engine
moment.
number 1. Start. Everything's looking good. We have a good spool on the engine. Start and feather. That is the latest update of the plane. UK Sim, welcome aboard. Matt Johnson, welcome aboard. And thank you very much, guys, for your support, being members here at the Q8 Pilot channel. Very much appreciated. Right, we have a good start on the engine number 1, minimum and max. Perfect. Right, we're going to set our flaps to flaps 5. Flaps 5 is now set. We're going to come here and select Alt Select. All right, perfect. Everything is looking cool. Leave. Still there. All right. We now can turn on the hydraulic control buttons right here, and the auxiliary fuel pumps, and auto feather. And we're going to set, flaps are already set. And why is this guy still there? Can you please disconnect? All right, let's say stop push. Hello? All right, you don't want to do that, so we're going to come here and remove the Y force. Better push back. There we go. All right, so we are good to go now. Of course, those kind of glitches are expected in early access. Set the the parking brake is set. Yeah, it is set. All right, so we are ready to go, and everything's good. By the way, we need to set this to on out. All right, all's good, and we want to change the. We don't need the electrical display now, so what we're going to do is put this on nav as well, and we can bring up the terrain. If we come here. And we can select whether... All right, so we have the terrain now working on both sides. Excellent. Emergency light is not armed, which we should arm. Right, emergency light is armed, and we no longer need the APU. So we're going to turn on the bleeds. We're going to leave them on minimum. APU bleed, generator is off, and the APU is off, and the taxi lights are on. And we are now ready to taxi to the runway. Perfect. Parking brake is released. And let's go. We need the steering. Right, there we go. And we have the steering enabled, and we're good to go. And Flyer Robin, hello my friend, welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us. And we have Ninja Man 344, welcome aboard. The parking brake was set. Unfortunately, it was acting up, so we killed it. All right, we're ready to go. Everything is in tip-top shape. We're going to click here for V1 124, V rotate 124, and V2 128. Excellent. Everything's looking cool. And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, the beautiful Q4XP Dash 8 Q400 making its way to the runway. Beautiful sight of this aircraft. All right, we're coming up. This is runway 17 left. Our departing runway approach lights are on, and the anti-collision lights are on as well. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this on flight low. Here's the runway, and we're going to move the lock, and we are good to go. Right, runway 17 left. We are cleared for takeoff. Auto feather is armed. We're going to rotate at 124 knots. Rotate. And positive rate of climb. Gears going up. Flaps are going up. Continue to climb. 190. Slight turn to the left here to align with our flight path. Looking good. And we're going to pitch down a little bit now to gain some speed, and at about 220 knots we'll engage IAS mode. Alright, here we go, 220 IAS, autopilot engaged, nav mode, and now the aircraft should do what it's supposed to do. We can increase the range a little bit. There we go. And we can now turn off the hydraulic control. We can turn off the auxiliary fuel pumps and the auto feather. And let's come up here now, turn on set the bleeds to normal. You want to make sure you don't forget this, because otherwise, if you pass 10,000 feet and the air conditioning system is not set to normal, then you will probably run into a cabin that is not pressurized, and you will start experiencing hypoxia, both you and the passengers, of course. So, yeah. Right, looking good. We're climbing through 6,000 for 25,000 feet. All's looking good. Chris, hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Just got a 4K monitor, so wondering what have you to say about X-Plane 12 with a 4K monitor? Oh, okay. All right. So what I've noticed, guys, is after I've done the setup, I've noticed that there is a lot of stuttering on the 4K monitor. And the frames were really good. So I was getting like 50, 60, 70 frames. I've loaded the... it was notorious for the stutters, the Airbus, the default A330. So I loaded that aircraft at London Heathrow. I was getting about 50 frames per second, but there was stuttering and it was driving me nuts. And all I've done is, after extensive testing, I've noticed that if you have a 4K monitor, take the rendering resolution from no super sampling to FSR, just take it to the Ultra, and all your stuttering will go away. I hope it works for you. Give it a try and let me know if you're having stutters. Let me know. Let me know if that fixes it for you. SLI 4090. Yes, you can, but you're going to have to buy a special SLI bridge, which is kind of rare to find. But But yeah, it is possible without a doubt. It is possible to do it. All right, we're approaching 10,000 feet, and we're going to kill the lights and everything else here. We're also going to release our passengers and cabin crew and let them service our passengers. Speaking of that, if we go very quickly here to the cabin, and I think last time, by the way, the lights here, this is something you can actually play with. Of course, it doesn't show now because it's during daylight, but you know, you can actually open the cabins here. You can also close the windows, and you can also put the food table as well, which is really cool. And for those of you who haven't seen, this is, by the way, the what did I do? This is the forward compartment, so you can actually open it as well, but it will sound a warning in the cockpit. And you can also use the lavatory, as you can see here. Oops. Right, so, and you can actually open this, and you can flush the toilet. Yeah! So, yeah, nice little details there with the dash. And by the way, everything here, so if we go down here, again, some of the nice details in this area, all of these are actually operational. This is just a box where you can just put stuff in there. And you can also open the hatch. So you just pull the handle here and you can actually remove the hatch. All of this also works. This is the landing gear alternate release, open door fully. All of this equipment is actually operational, and it works exactly as it should in real life. What else is there? These are not modeled, but what you'll be very pleased to know that all the circuit breakers are modeled on this aircraft. All of the circuit breakers are modeled. Yeah. Brilliant, brilliant aircraft, the Dash 8. By the way, the reason we're getting this is because we opened the landing gear alternate door here, and that's why we had the master caution right over there. We have Farmer Beeves. Farmer Beeves, welcome aboard, my friend. Most important feature, yeah, wash your hands, absolutely. First lavatory in flight sim. There have been a bunch of them in with working lavatories, Mika, but this one is actually one with a flush. So it's the first one that actually you can flush the toilet. Would love to see a flight on the Challenger 650 on X-Plane 12. I'm not sure if it's actually compatible yet with X-Plane 12, but once it is compatible, we'll definitely do a live stream. It's a brilliant aircraft. It is the single most detailed aircraft ever built for flight simulation, period. There's nothing that comes close to it. And we are making a turn here again. Very, very nice experience with the 4090 in X-Plane. Here's a look at the outside. And by the way, for those of you who are new to the channel, I have a 43-inch widescreen 4K monitor. The refresh rate is 144 Hertz, but the stream is scaled down to 1080p, and that's just for bandwidth reason. Yeah, here we go. Very, very cool. Here's a flyby. Oh, by the way, we forgot to do one thing, is to take this to 900. And we continue our climb, folks, now to 25,000 feet. And we need to set the barrel to standard at 18. Right, 29902. Standard 29902. Perfect. They've actually made improvements in the latest beta. I still am getting the flickers every now and then, but Flight for Fun channel, welcome aboard. What will you choose? 65 FPS and a hungry family, or 60 FPS and fed kids. The 490 does nothing but increase the belly of NVIDIA marketers. Well, that is actually true, that it does fill in their pockets, but quite frankly, it does change your experience in both Sims and in many other games as well. So I think they do deliver on the promise. Unfortunately, X-Plane 12 haven't added more options on software, which I expected. Two-Tone Murphy, welcome aboard. Guys, give it up for my very good friend Two-Tone Murphy. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you for the great content that you create. I follow your channel, and I really enjoy your content. I am definitely looking forward for the Dash 8 in X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator without a doubt, and I hope that if it's half as good as the Q4XP, I'll be very happy. Thanks again for being here. Appreciate it. Guys, if you don't know Two-Tone Murphy, he's a great content creator. Please do visit his channel, give him a few hundred likes and subscribes. Well worth it. Very nice guy, very nice content, very down to earth. I enjoy his content a lot, so he's one of the channels that I follow and watch. So please do visit his channel. Have you noticed the new Cirrus clouds? They look great. Yeah, definitely. Overall, I think they are making, slight changes every now and then. Laminar. They are on beta 13 as we speak now, and hopefully, they of course, I don't know if you guys are aware, they've made an announcement that they are going to officially release X-Plane 12 in December of 2022, and that's just right around the corner. And I'm quite excited to see what the final version is. Couple of interesting things is earlier today I was speaking to a retired real-world pilot who I've got him hooked up on flight simulation lately, and he actually here's an interesting comment from a real-world pilot who's just starting with with flight simulation. He tells me that flying the aircraft in the real world is actually a lot easier than flying it here in the sim. And he said the reason being, he says, your entire body and the reflex to whatever reaction your body makes, as in relative to the aircraft responding to wind or the friction on the ground. Says all of these things are things you cannot really feel in a flight sim. And he was actually flying on X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator, and he said to me in his own words that flying in X-Plane felt more real to him than Microsoft Flight Simulator. But he said Microsoft Flight Simulator is it gave me a more immersive feel. So he says simply because most real-world pilots, by the way, love to fly VFR, and he was actually doing a VFR flights in both sims, and yeah, he attests to the flight model in X-Plane. He says it's very accurate, but he says flying the aircraft in any sim is just a lot more difficult. He says if you leave alone the actual regulation, so whatever you need to tell ATC, but actually the act of flying the aircraft, so the aviation part of it, he says it's a lot easier in real life, simply because you can feel all the forces and your body can sense everything. Whereas in the flight sim, the only thing you can do is see what's happening and respond accordingly. But yeah, he did enjoy it a lot. He did enjoy it a lot. Another interesting thought was on I'm not sure who it was, but a video popped on my YouTube homepage, and this guy comparing the two sims and obviously giving the the score points, the higher score to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and announcing it as the best platform for commercial use, meaning us, the flight simmers, and saying that probably X-Plane is more of a B2B sort of a business model, because real world airlines or flight training centers do want a very accurate simulator, because they're not concerned with scenery and things like that. Now there's a lot of merit to what this guy was saying. I can't recall the channel name, but there was a lot of merit. I actually enjoyed listening to his thoughts, but is it game over for X-Plane in relation to the consumer market? Personally, I really don't think so. I think, though, a lot of people will migrate to Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think it has a much bigger base and a much bigger growth, but I think there are those who will remain with X-Plane, and it will continue to attract the serious aviation enthusiasts and real-world pilots. All right. We are approaching our final cruise altitude of 25,000 feet, and everything's looking good. Perfect. I always admire your channel over the last 8 years and appreciate you for all the information you provided for me to set up my homemade cockpit. Oh, freedom and justice, it is my absolute pleasure. And I'm glad that whatever information I gave you was helpful for you. That's why I exist and why the channel exists. So thank you very much for sharing that with me. I appreciate it. Hi, Far Captain Q8. How are you? Happy with RTX 4090 ZOTAC card? I'm also looking at the card. I am absolutely happy with the ZOTAC. In fact, my previous 3090 was also from ZOTAC. And so I'm very happy with the card, very happy with its performance, and so far so good, no complaints whatsoever. The Flying Scotsman, hello my friend, welcome aboard. I think X-Plane just has that little extra. It's much easier to use than MSFS. Yeah, it doesn't require tweaking or anything like that. It's set and forget, it's kind of a thing. And let's take a quick look here at our flight plan. So we are going to begin our descent approximately 20 nautical miles at Thor. That's when we're going to begin our descent. And if we look here at performance, fuel on board, we're looking good. Endurance 1 hour 50 minutes. That's more than enough. That's when we arrive at George Bush, so we have currently 2 hours 41 of fuel with a range of 865 nautical miles, so we're looking good there, and all's looking good here. Perfect. All right, we're almost at the cruise level, almost there. I'm gonna go ahead and I think we've already released our passengers. Yeah, we've already done that, so everything is looking good here. All systems are operational per design intent, and there we go. That's 25,000. We're gonna retard now the props to minimum, which is 850, and we're gonna ease off on the throttle in a little while. We're just gonna let the aircraft accelerate a little bit. And then we're going to ease off on the power, set it to cruise power, and we're good. Yeah. Camilo, hello my friend, welcome aboard. Yes, Q4XP is now available for X-Plane 12. To be honest, anything is better than the generic ultra-low res rural textures. Hopefully Orbex will come up with their Orbx True Earth soon, or you can always use Ortho4XP. Yeah, definitely. A Cicada. I'm late because I Cockpit Sim Aviation. Do you use default scenery or Ortho4XP? Right now in X-Plane 12, I haven't used Orthos until this very moment. I haven't really created any tiles or anything like that, and there is really no reason why I haven't done. I just haven't had the time, to be very honest with you. But yeah, lovely aircraft. Here's a look at the outside. Ladies and gentlemen, here you have it. The Dash 8 Q400 by Fly Jason. I sure do hope that the 737 Classic and the 7200 are also brought to X-Plane 12. As you can see, the clouds are actually not bad. After the beta update, beta 13 update, actually looks pretty good. All right, so while we are en route to our destination, we are going to take a look at our arrival runway, and that's us right there. And we're going to go to Navigraph right here, and we're going to just say back. And this is our flight. Right, we're going to go to the charts. No, that's not what we want. This is not the airport we want. This guy, yeah, George Bush International. We're going to go to the charts. We're going to go to the approach. And our approach today is 08. Was it right or left? Can't recall. So let's come here and so runway 08 right. Okay, perfect. Now, by the way, we can grab the ILS frequency here, but it's nice to see Navigraph there. So that's our runway, I suppose. Runway 08 right. Yep, that's the one. And if we zoom in, we can see that the decision height is 200, and the final approach course is 087. The localizer is 109.7. That's the ILS frequency. So we can set that 109.7. Right here, which is actually already set, and you can see the display here says ILS. Excellent. By the way, in the Dash 8, if you wanted to do a passenger announcement or you wanted to declare an emergency, you need to make sure this knob is at the PA, and now you can actually use the PA, or you can use the chime, or you can call. So but now you can make a passenger announcement, or you can so that way you can call your flight attendants here. There you go, and that's when you declare an emergency. So when actually you click this one, the flight attendant would pick up the phone and speak to the captain. But if we click on the emergency, the flash in the light in the passenger cabin is going to flash, telling the attendants to immediately come to the phone and speak to the captain. And that is actually modeled here in the Dash 8. So FlyJSON has done that. Another thing that you will notice is if you go to page 2, you actually have everything modeled. So we can go back to page 1, and if you go, for example, to VHF, and then you can expand, or if you go to, for example, maintenance, or let me need to switch this back to VHF. And now if I go, for example, here or here, and go to page 2, why is it not doing it? Say expand. Alright, let's go here. Say expand. Alright, so now you can actually see that you can select the TCAS, you can perform the TCAS test, and you can also do the above, below. All your TCAS and ATC can be controlled here with the expand. And now we can go back to our page. Very, very deep work. Very, very well done. The Dash 8 by FlyJason. Just really excellent aircraft. Very, very well made aircraft. And of course, all these pages are again simulated. So, good job, very well done by FlyJason on the Dash 8 Q400. 25,000 feet, we're still looking good. And we continue to cruise at 25,000. Quick look at our flight plan to give you a status update. We are 35, 50, 50, and 40 is 90. So we will actually begin the descent into George Bush International in about 90 nautical miles from now. Right, perfect. Steam only for Windows. I suppose so, yeah. Right, we're looking good. And we want to welcome Thomas Gundy to the Q8 Pilot channel. Just became a subscriber. Welcome aboard, my friend. Thank you very much for your subscription to the channel. I appreciate it. Gotta love the texture work. Very nice indeed. Right, we're looking good. So Jane is asking what throttle quadrant. I'm using the Thrustmaster HOTAS throttle, and I'm very soon going to switch to the Honeycomb Bravo throttle quadrant. I'm waiting for an add-on to arrive so that I can do a full review of that add-on. And with that, I'm going to make the switch. The thing about the HOTAS Thrustmaster, of course, it is an A10. It's a military-based or a combat-based throttle quadrant. But what I do like about it is the amount of switches and buttons that it's got. One, but what really does it for me with this throttle is the fact that it's very sturdy. Once you put it on your desk, it doesn't really move. So it is one of the best I have seen. What kind of FPS are you getting X-Plane 12 with the Q4XP Captain Q8? Mogo, I'm getting actually very decent FPS. Maybe I can bring up the counter here, I don't know. Let's bring up the counter and take a look. I'm getting right now 56, 55 FPS. And of course, I get a lot more. I get about 65 when I'm not streaming. And this is, by the way, on the ground, I get about 50, so I only lose about 6 FPS on the ground. But yeah, that's what I'm getting. The render latency is very good, 23.6 milliseconds. And GPU utilization, 72%, 74%. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. And by the way, just for you to note, I am actually running the simulator in 4K. So the native screen is 4K. It's an ultra-wide 43-inch monitor. So with probably a lesser resolution, we can probably get more frames. But I'm very happy with 60 frames or 50 frames. And I will be doing a performance video very soon to show you not just the GPU and the frames, but also to show you the temperatures and what happens with the 139K with X-Plane as opposed to Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think we've seen Microsoft Flight Simulator, so time to make a video on X-Plane as well. But I don't know if it can fit with the ZOTAC Cessna yoke. Yeah, it should work fine. with that low CPU utilization, was upgrading CPU in your case necessary, or you would have similar performance with your old CPU? So the old CPU wasn't capable of doing more than 5 gigahertz. I'm now overclocking at 5.5 gigahertz. It's a brand new CPU. It's a brand new architecture altogether from Intel, where you have performance and economy cores, so P and E cores. And I don't think that I would have been able to get similar performance with the old CPU. Especially, I've had also a very dated motherboard. It was a very, very old motherboard. So yeah, I think I'm very happy with the investment that I've made. It did cost a lot, I have to say, but this is probably a system that I can live with for the next 5 years or so. I might end up upgrading if a very powerful graphics card come out, or a really very powerful processor comes out. But I don't see myself upgrading anything. By the way, I got everything: brand new monitor, brand new speakers, new keyboard, mouse pad, everything. I just renewed the entire gear that I have. Everything was really aging, and I'm now also saving a little bit so I can also upgrade my rudder pedal. I want to get the Thrustmaster rudder pedals. They are excellent. They're very expensive, but they're excellent. And of course, that goes with a review of the product once it's arrives. But yeah, that's pretty much the update from my side as far as the build. I'm looking to buy a new PC. How much gigabytes of storage do I need to run X-Plane 12? Well, X-Plane, I think, fully installed, I believe you need about 65 gigs if you want to install all the scenery. That is of course without additional add-ons. So you need probably a 2 terabyte disk for X-Plane, another 2 terabyte for MSFS if you have it. That would be my recommendation. 2 terabyte should be sufficient. I was afraid because I use till now the Sage Cessna yoke quadrant and the rudder pedals. I just want to buy the honeycomb quadrant. You should be fine. We have with us Sanders. Welcome aboard, my friend. Glad to have you here, and thank you very much for being a member of the Q8 Pilot channel. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Alright, let's take a look here at our flight plan real quick and see where we are. We are alright, so if we count 12 and 40, that's 52, about 52 nautical miles, guys, for top of descent. And we are looking good. All aircraft systems are operational per design intent. If we look here, all is good. Excellent. Let's go ahead and take a look at the outside real quick. We have very cloudy conditions, so we can't really see much. But I do like X-Plane, guys. In all honesty, it is nothing like Microsoft Flight Simulator in terms of visuals, though. That is something that goes without saying. But it's not bad. It's not that bad, in my view. And I really do enjoy the fidelity of, for example, this aircraft, the Q4XP. And, I would love to see an aircraft like this in Microsoft Flight Simulator. The Dash 8 happens to be an aircraft that is very, very close to my heart. And I've actually had a friend who was a Dash 8 pilot, and he gave me a lot of tips as well on the Dash 8. So yeah, and I highly recommend Airline to Sim. They have a cadet program for the Q400. In fact, I have all of their lessons. So I have the Airbus, the Boeing, and the Dash 8 cadet programs, and by far the Dash 8 course is by far the best out of the 3 courses that they have. It's just absolutely brilliant, and I've learned a lot again also watching their tutorials on the Dash 8 with a real Dash 8 pilot. So if you really want to learn the Dash 8 and understand a little more. They go in depth explaining, the dry operating index, the aircraft's characteristics. Of course, all the tutorials and the course is done on the Majestic Dash 8, but you can follow along because everything in the Dash 8 is available in the Q4XP except for the pseudo VOR, which is still not there. So if we go to, for example, if we go to nav and you go to maneuver, you see this one here, pseudo VOR. Well, looks like we have it. Did they actually implement it? Alright, well we can actually put it at waypoint 16. Aha! And they actually done it. Look at that, guys. Alright, desired track is the 087, so 87. And the radial, and we're going to say accept. And by the way, this doesn't really, it shouldn't change anything, which looks like it did, but yeah, it shouldn't change my plan. It's flying direct to the runway now. Looks like they've implemented this, but let me go back previous. So we were at turn, so we're going to say number 7, direct to number 7. And there we go. Alright, so we're back on our flight plan. So it looks like they've implemented this pseudo VOR, which is pretty cool. Now basically what the pseudo VOR does here is it actually draws an imaginary line. It draws an imaginary line with the runway, and it's mainly for situational awareness. Maybe we'll do it once we're closer to the airport and see if it works there. This is our flight plan here, so we're looking okay. Yeah, we'll test it once we are there, but it looks like it has been implemented now, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it actually now is at par with the Majestic Dash 8 in terms of the simulation of systems, and it's far better in every other department. So the visuals, the animations. So now, ladies and gentlemen, without a doubt, I announce the Q4XP as the best Dash 8 available for flight simulation, period. Yeah. Alright, let me try one more thing here. We go to VOR. Yeah, there is an inbound and an outbound. You can specify the degrees as well. So it looks like, yeah, maybe I forgot how to use it, but I'm almost 100% sure that it's done for situational awareness only. And that's the runway there. Alright, so if we go back to our flight plan, we are at Torn, and we are 44 nautical miles from Torn, and in about 20 nautical miles we'll begin our descent towards George Bush International Airport. We are looking good, folks, and we're going to put this back on our flight plan. That's Torn, that's where we're heading right now. So when we're about 20 nautical miles from the waypoint, we will begin our descent. We're looking good in terms of speed. Everything else is fine and dandy. And BBB376, welcome aboard, my friend. I love your VOR. Nice to see it has entrance to the XP version. I think, yeah, since yesterday, probably, yeah. The holdings work perfect. Yeah, the holdings actually are very, very well done on the Dash 8. And, yeah, they do work perfectly well. And, again, this is a study level aircraft. So this is definitely study-level aircraft of the Dash 8. All the sounds, the animations, the anti-icing system. In fact, if you go to the outside, and if you go engines right here. So see this here, this is actually the door, and if you actually turn on the anti-icing system, so let's go ahead and turn on the engine intakes. So we're going to turn them and turn on the anti-icing system. We're going to put this on slow, and we're just going to wait a little while. Now this starts working engine intakes now, so the anti-icing system is now on. And if we go to the aircraft and we look down here, you see that the door is now open, and this is actually letting the air in. So again, very, very detailed. You can see here on both sides. And if we go back to the cockpit and turn this off, and we're going to turn this off, and we're going to go back to the outside of the aircraft. Now you'll notice that the doors are now closing, and finally it goes over. Very, very detailed aircraft. You see this? This is the fun stuff I love about the about X-Plane and the aircraft in our X-Plane. Now this is again study level, but again to date the most advanced and detailed deeply simulated aircraft for flight sim is Challenger 650 by Hotstar. There's nothing that comes close to that aircraft. And when you say study level, I think that's the new baseline for what study level means, and everything else falls behind today. I think they really Hotstar have set the bar very, very high. Even PMDG and Phoenix are not as detailed as the Challenger 650. So it is by far the most detailed and most realistic aircraft, and it comes with a full experience. So it comes with the actual package, you know, the FBO, and you actually go to a room and you file for the... your voice is a bit too low. Is it? Maybe because I'm just sitting away from the monitor. I do have my... I can bring this sim down a little bit if it's too... let me know if this is better. I'm closer now to the mic. So... I was kind of sitting back, so maybe it's better now. Your voice is perfect here. All right, perfect. Do you know if X-Plane 12 is compatible with what? Nest nuts. What's that? Sim down a bit. All right, let's do that. Let me just. Sorry guys. Let me bring up here. All right, let's bring the sim. Ooh. All right. Let me bring the sim down here, maybe. All right, 10.8 for the sim, and the rest is for me. All right. A tad better. All right, perfect. All right, so if we look here, guys, we are now about 19.7 nautical miles, and the final, if we bring up SimToolkit Pro here, and we take a look at the descent here. So the initial approach altitude is 7,000 and then 2,000. So we're going to go ahead and reset the altitude to 2,000 feet. And then we're going to begin the descent. All right, that's 2,600, 2,220. All right, so 2,000. We're going to go vertical speed, and we're going to set this to 1,000 feet per minute. We're going to ease off on the throttle now and take it down here so that we don't overspeed, and we have now begun the descent towards our destination, George Bush International Airport. Speaking of George Bush is a very loved personality in Kuwait, and we were very saddened by the news of his death. But yeah, he's definitely someone that we hold, and we have a lot of very fond memories of George W. Bush. All right, let's decrease the range. There we go. All right, we're looking good, and we continue our descent now towards our destination. Can you show the FPS? Yeah. Control, there we go. That's the FPS for you. 56 FPS right now. 57, 56, 58, you know, somewhere. It's I'm not sure if you guys can see the performance overlay when I'm on stream, but I'm getting about 57 right now. Very good render latency. And GPU utilization. CPU utilization is... I don't think this is accurate, by the way. I don't think this is correct. But we'll do a more detailed performance video for X-Plane 12 with the RTX 4090 and yeah, George Senior, yeah, George H.W., right? George Senior passed away, not George Jr. That is correct. Steve 1927, no worries, my friend. Take care. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being here for as long as you did, and have a beautiful evening, my friend. Right, 22,000, and we're going to begin reducing our speed momentarily here. We definitely do not want to increase the speed, that's for sure. Here's a look at the aircraft from the external view. This actually doesn't look bad at all, considering, you know, this is old default stock X-Plane. Doesn't look bad. Just look at this aircraft, so majestic. Love it. All right, continuing over descent, looking good. Q8, the VNAV work rate in the Q4XP, you must try it. Really? Where is the VNAV? Let's see, that's VNAV. FD mode inhibit. I think we need to set things up here, don't we? Yeah, maybe some other time. Maybe some other time I'll do that. Hopefully Laminar will fix the clouds on the release day. Hopefully. I definitely hope so. And guys, if you are enjoying this stream, it would really help a lot if you smash that like button for me, and if you haven't turned on the bell notifications on, be sure to do so that you are notified of the latest guides, tutorials, and streams and videos on the channel. It does help the channel quite a bit. I'm from Lima, Peru. There was a terrible accident as SPG. Did you see it? Yeah, I have, and I don't have all the details, but the scene was a horrific scene. Just the way that aircraft hit into the trucks, and I'm very sorry for those who've lost their lives, and give my condolences. Definitely go to their families and loved ones. It was a terrible, terrible accident. Really, very, very bad. The Flying Scotsman smashed, belled, and lied. Thank you very much, sir. Very much appreciated. Very kind of you, sir. Thank you. Right, so it looks like you guys want me to do the full tutorial. So you guys want no need for an overview. You want more the IFR. All right, so let me go ahead and end the poll here. And it looks like most of you guys want me to do the IFR and VFR tutorials. All right, perfect. Waypoint alert, we're looking good. Let's go ahead and set this up. All right, so 130 is going to be our approach speed today, and we are now approaching 18,000 almost, and we're going to set. All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick look at. Let me remove this here, and we can go to the weather information at our destination. As you can see, the last weather update was done not too long ago. 0908, 8 knot wind, 10 miles of visibility. Few clouds at 9,000 feet, scattered clouds at 13,000. The current temperature is 14. The altimeter is 3028. All right, perfect. For the Dash 8, by the way, this is going to be a little bit interesting, but 090, so that's yeah, 08, 08, yeah, so we're going into the wind, so almost headwind. There's almost no crosswind there, so this is pretty much just headwind. It's slight crosswind, very, very slight, almost none. So yeah, we're definitely flying into the wind. 3028 is our altimeter, and we can now set the altimeter right here, 3028. Go there and set it, 3028, and we're going to set 3028 here as well. 3028 is set on both sides, and we are good. Right. We're going to ease off a little bit here on the throttle, begin reducing our speed, and we are looking pretty good. ILS frequency set. And we continue to descend at about 1,000 feet per minute. Have you flown the G500? Not yet. The weather is nice here in Houston. The sun finally came out. Perfect, Chris. Yeah, I know earlier today when I actually was, I believe yesterday evening, when I tested the airports for, you know, frame rates and all that, and examine the Xometry scenery. It was actually pretty bad in both Oklahoma City and in Houston, but it looks like things have subsided, and the weather is pretty cool. We're down to 17,000 for 2,000, and we're looking good. Yeah. Our speed is also good at this point in time. That's the runway, as you can see here. We are okay in terms of the altitude. By the way, we're just going to hit on Alt Select here. Perfect. Quick reminder for you guys as well that to visit the AnyBuilds store for the latest great add-ons for Microsoft Flight Simulator and X-Plane 12. They have been doing very, very well, and they have a lot of partners now into their store. And of course, you can always get their excellent London Heathrow Airport for Microsoft Flight Simulator, Los Angeles, San Antonio, Ibiza, and by the way, London Heathrow version 3 is in the making and should be released very soon, and they've just announced a new airport. I think it was Detroit. I'm not sure if it was Detroit. I think it was Detroit. But yeah, they're definitely doing great with the Microsoft Flight Simulator scenery. Right, we're at 15,000 for 2,000. We're looking good. We're going to, again, reduce our speed a little further now, and we're going to bring the corrupts to 900. Excellent. What does Alt Select do? Willie, when you set the altitude, for example, to any desired altitude, when you hit Alt Select, the aircraft will descend or climb to that altitude and hold at that altitude. And this is actually very important that you don't forget doing this, because if you do forget it, what's going to happen is the aircraft is going to continue to descend beyond whatever you dial in for the final altitude. So alt select simply instructs the autopilot to hold at the selected altitude. That's it. That's what alt select does. Right, we're looking good. There is no terrain in the flight path, so we should be fine. We're looking good. Gonna increase our rate of descent just a little bit to 1200, and I'm gonna ease off on the throttle a little more, and we're gonna slow down to about 200 knots now. Let's do an external view. Those engine sounds are amazing. And here is a flyby. Back in the cockpit, everything is in tip-top shape. We're looking good. Would a dual CPU board, such as a server board, increase performance, or is it limited by the software? So, Microsoft Flight Simulator and X-Plane 12 are pretty much single-core dependent at this point. So throwing more cores is not really going to help. But what's going to help is that you have a very fast single core. By all the benchmarks that I've seen on the net, reading the reviews, the 139K as of today has the fastest single core speed out of everything that is available, and this is what you need. Another thing that you will need to run Microsoft Flight Simulator, for example, very smoothly, and something that really affects performance, is the level 3 cache. And again, the level 3 cache, the reason I picked the 139 over the 129 is that it has a bigger, slightly bigger L3 cache, which is much better for better performance. So no, I mean, it's not about getting as much cores or double processors. I think it's more the single core. Unfortunately, until this very day, both flight sims are still largely dependent on the single core power. Flat as a pancake. Right, we're approaching 10,000 feet. Let's go ahead and turn on our landing lights. And we're going to hold off here on the speed, about 190 knots or so, until we are a bit closer to the airport. There are a few restrictions there. 11, I think we passed it, but that's okay. We're going to go back to 1,000 feet per minute. And we're just going to give it a little more throttle here to maintain the current speed. Yeah, overall, I think X-Plane looks pretty good. It's not bad, that's what I'll say. It's not bad. And by the way, when you have all the ortho photos and you have all that good stuff there, it actually looks pretty good. And as you've seen, like a detailed airport like the Xometry Oklahoma City, Will Rogers Airport is actually done very well. So with nice airports, with ortho photos, I think, yeah, X-Plane is looks pretty good. Perfect. Everything's looking good here. Let's go to flight plan. That's import. About 7 nautical miles. Then we begin our turn. There's a restriction there at 6,000. And then it's going to be the turn into George Bush International. Gary, welcome to the Q8 Pilot channel. Thank you for your subscription, sir. Welcome aboard. The 5800X 3D is amazing with its third level cache. It might be Neil's. I haven't tested it, so X-Plane may be ugly as sin by today's standards, but my god, she is a stable simulator in all elements. I do agree with you. It's very stable. Even this early access is actually very stable. So I do enjoy X-Plane a lot, guys, and I don't think that I will ever give up X-Plane. I love X-Plane. I love Laminar Research. I love the company. I love the guys that work there. I think they're just brilliant. And while they are small in size, they are great in their accomplishments. And so I will remain a very faithful and loyal supporter of the platform. But that doesn't mean that I am not going to also support Microsoft Flight Simulator, because I do enjoy it immensely. And especially with all the new add-ons there, it really has become an excellent platform. So definitely definitely a platform that I enjoy just as much as I enjoy X-Plane. Right, here we go. 7,000 for 2,000, 5,000 feet to go. We're almost there at our destination now. By the way, the Dash 8 in the Majestic version in P3D has a heads-up display. This aircraft doesn't, so that's worth noting as well. Hopefully it'll come with time, but definitely the team at FlyJSim is definitely hard at work making improvements to this aircraft. An excellent aircraft. Alright, we're going to begin reducing our speed. And as you can see, this is actually a very nice scene with the clouds ahead of us. Actually looks very nice. Performance is good. Yeah, mate, just working like crazy. We're almost there now, folks. And again, by the way, the cloud smoothing in X-Plane 12 I think is done very well. Not as good as MSFS, but still quite nice. We're going to be doing full flaps 35 for landing today, so that's flaps 35 or flaps full for our landing today. And now we can see there is a bit of a flicker here that's happening, which I absolutely dread. Well, maybe not so. Right, we're looking good. 4,800 for 2,000. And let's go ahead and set the heading. For the next waypoint. There we go. And we can now reduce our rate of descent to about 800 feet per minute. We're going to maintain about 180 knots or so until we are on final. Used to fly into IH on the Saab 340 and Beech 1900 back in the 90s. Oh, wow. How cool is that? I love the Saab A340. The 340B, beg your pardon. I just absolutely adore that aircraft, and I definitely hope that, that the LES, leading edge simulations, I hope that they actually work on bringing the aircraft to X-Plane 12, because it would be really a shame not to have that aircraft in the sim. It's a brilliant aircraft. Right, we're looking good. We're going to reduce the rate of descent to about 600 feet per minute. Actually, we'll take it to 500 feet per minute. A little bit of turbulence as we approach our destination. There's definitely the flickering there. Hopefully it's not too bad. As we come into land, hopefully it won't get worse. Right, we're approaching 2,000 feet, which is the initial approach altitude. And here's what we're going to do, folks, now. What we're going to do is we are going to switch to heading mode. So to do this, we can see the heading button here. So this is our current heading. So we're going to go switch to heading mode. Now you can see we are in heading select mode. We are going to continue our descent to 2,000. And we're going to switch the nav source to the ILS. And we're going to set the course to 087 degrees. 087 degrees, which is the final approach course. The frequency is already set. We can see the localizer and the glide slope needles already here showing on the display, and everything is looking pretty good right now. All right, so we are a little too fast, so we're going to start reducing our speed. And we are almost there at our destination now. All right, so in preparation for landing, we're going to turn on the hydraulic control on and the auxiliary fuel pumps on as well. We're also going to turn on the taxi lights, all the rest of the lights. Fasten seatbelt, non-smoking signs are now turned on. And we are now cabin crew seats for landing. Right, we're good to go. 2,000 is coming up here. And we expect the speed to drop a little bit once we are at 2,000. So I'm going to just keep my hands on the throttle here to make sure that we give it a little power to maintain speed. As you can see now, whoever was asking me about alt select, so this is the function of alt select. As you can see now, the aircraft is holding at 2,000 feet, which is the dialed altitude here. And if we hadn't pushed alt select, the aircraft would have continued to descend, and it probably would have just continued until we hit the ground. So, all right, I think our speed, let's not just focus here and take a look at our speed. And there we go. Speed is good, 160, that's okay. At 2,000, everything is configured for our landing, except for our... Right, let's go to max. Looking good. Speed check. Hello, my friends. Welcome aboard. Thank you very much, Speed check. Appreciate it, my friend. Right, looking good. 2,000 feet, 170 or so. Just ease off a little bit here on the throttle. Right, now for landing, we're going to turn off the bleeds. So bleeds go to minimum. All right, everything is now fully configured for landing. We're going to decrease, or actually zoom in right here. There we go. Perfect. Everything looking good. We are on a heading of 128 degrees, bound to 087 degrees for the ILS runway 08 right at George Bush International Airport. And as we approach the airport, you will see this line here, or this arrow, is going to move closer to the center of the circle, indicating that we are actually getting very close to the ILS frequency, or the localizer. And this is, of course, the glide slope. Everything else is set, looking good. Here's a flyby for you guys. Oh yeah. Everything is in tip-top shape. So hard to land this bird. It is, Casey. It is, yeah. It is definitely a hard aircraft to land. It's not straightforward, and it takes a lot of learning. But I tell you, it's so enjoyable. I mean, I don't know how many times I've had hard landings with this aircraft. By the way, there is a problem with the replay. Once we do the replay, the aircraft actually doesn't land on the ground for some reason. It stays on it stays on a certain elevation. I'm not sure why is that problem. I'll show you when we do the replay. But for some reason, it doesn't replay properly. Take a look at that. But we're looking good now, as you can see here. Everything is as per design intent. All right, let's go ahead and zoom in a little more. There we go. And in a few moments, you will start seeing the arrow moving to the center. Looking good. I love the Dash 8. I never actually get bored flying this aircraft.
Terrain.
Alright, let's go ahead and do the approach. Right, there we go, localizer. Localizer is captured. Perfect. And we're going to start reducing our speed now. There you go, and we want this arrow to be on the center line here exactly, and that will tell us that we are aligned with the runway. So this is the localizer needle. Again, when it's in the middle, it means we are aligned with the runway. That's the runway right there. So we have the correct display here. Brilliant. Alrighty. Perfect. Our speed is getting low. Speed check, and let's go to flaps 5. The glide slope now needle is moving down. Alright, let's go ahead and lower the landing gear, and we're gonna wait for the greens. Once the alright, landing gear is in position, speed check flaps 10. And we'll continue to reduce our speed. There's a slight crosswind there, nothing too serious here as we approach our destination. We're looking good. Dash 7 coming to MSFS. As I said, if it's half as good as the Dash 8 by FlyJason, I'll be very happy. Right, let's reduce our speed. We're a bit too fast. There we go, reducing our speed now. Perfect. Excellent. And let's take a look here. All right. Speed check. Flaps 15. We're gonna reduce our speed a little bit. Then we want to maintain about 130 for the approach and landing. Right, we are on the glide slope on the localizer. We're clear to land, runway 08 right. Alright, so now we're going to go to flaps 35 and speed check flaps 35. Very slight changes here, and now we're going to disconnect the autopilot and my aircraft. Your damper is off. My airplane. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to George Bush International Airport. Set the reversers. Ooh, beautiful. Right. Unfortunately, we will not be able to do a proper replay because of a bug, but we can bring up SimToolkit Pro. The landing rate was 300. Firm landing, without a doubt, was a firm landing. But it's still pretty nice. We're just going to go straight. We can, by the way, turn on the APU. Power. Start. Just look at this beautiful aircraft. All right. Yeah, the landing lights can be up, that's true. And this can go to red lights. All right. Now, before we turn off the aircraft, let's go ahead and attempt to do the replay. And for some reason, like I said, I'm not sure why, it just simply doesn't land on the runway for some reason. But we can at least take a look at the approach. All right, here we go. Just look at that. One of the things I like about X-Plane is the camera system. Oh, we did it this time. Yeah, see, that's what happens. So I'm not sure why this happens. As soon as you land, the aircraft kind of jumps and stays up in the air. But I think you've seen the landing. And by the way, it actually looks better than 300. Yeah, let's do this one more time. Lights. Yeah, I think it just, for some reason, it jumps and then stays up in the air. So this is the kind of, yeah, we can put it there. There we go. So here's the moment we touch the ground. And then something happens and then goes back up. And it just stays there. Thinks this is the ground level. And it just stays there for some reason. Maybe some error with the airport elevation. But I'm not really sure. What is it really? All right. So back in the so that again, something is definitely up with this. So we're going to turn off the bleeds. Now we can see the APU is now turned on, and we can now simply turn off the. We can turn off all the lights here. We'll leave this one. All right. We can. Alright, perfect. We have now obviously the APU powering the aircraft. We can turn all of this stuff off. And let's come over here. We're going to start turning off our displays. So we're going to come here and we can now turn off the PFD, the MFD, and we can also turn off the, there we go. Confirm off, and we're gonna come over here as well, and we're gonna go let's see here, there we go, confirm off. Excellent. We're gonna turn off the radios. Radios are now turned off. We're gonna turn off the displays on this side as well, and the engine display. The engine display doesn't want to turn off for some reason. There we go. Alright. All is good here. And we can also turn off the window heat. Recirc fan can go off as well. And turn this off. We're going to turn off the bleed air, generator, and the power. And now we're going to turn off standby battery, auxiliary, main battery, and the master battery. And now the aircraft is back in a cold and dark state. And we can now start unloading. There we go. And the aircraft door is opening. And the passengers now will disembark the aircraft. The developer Mike Oxlong is making the Dash 8 for it, then it might be worthwhile waiting for it, huh? The Barracuda Flyer may be turned off, follows runway contour. Maybe that's the problem. That could be the issue, but I like runway contours, so I think it's more realistic. Well, folks, by the way, this airport is a default X-plane 12, so there is no scenery here. This is all default X-plane, and it was been really a lot of fun flying the Dash 8 today from Oklahoma to George Bush International. It was immense fun, and I really enjoyed being with you this evening. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this stream as much as I enjoy streaming it for you. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in this evening. Stay safe, and bye-bye for now.